morning, students, and welcome back to the session. Today we are going to do lesson number 2, which is called as the Sangam age. Okay, now the first one, the Sangam age. Now the term Sangam age, it is in Tamil country, it is significant and it is for the social, economic, cultural life of the Tamils. Okay, now Sangam age is also called as Sangha. Okay, now this is for the all-round development during that particular period. Now the Sangam literatures as well as the archaeological findings, they relieve these particular developments. This is about the Sangam age. Now, Sangam in Tamil of the Sanskrit word, it is called as Sangha, and it is the meaning of the group of the persons or the association. We know association means the groups of people. Okay, so Sangam, it is a Tamil form of the Sanskrit word Sangha, meaning a group of people or the association. Now, the Tamil Sangam was the academy of poets and bards who flourished in these different periods and in different places under the patronage of the Tamil kings. Now, according to this tradition, the first Sangam was founded by none other than sage Agastya, and its seat was at Tandamudurai, that is called as a South Madurai. Now, the seat of the second Sangam, it was the Kadapuram, which was another capital of the Pandyas. Now, it was attended by the several poets and was produced by a large mass of literature, but the only Tokapayam, that is the early Tamil grammar, has been survived. Now, the seat of the third Sangam was the present Madurai. The third seat was the present Madurai. Now, it also produced vast literature, but only a fraction of it is being survived. It is being left. Now, in this fraction, it consists of the extant body of the Sangam literature. This is of the third Sangam, which I told you all. Next, the age of the Sangam is the age to which the Sangam literature it belonged. Now, the Sangam literature, it constitutes of the mine of information or conditions of the life, which is around the beginning of the Christian era. Now, from the earliest time, it was the Tamilian which had three major kingdoms, very, very important three major kingdoms, that is the Cholas, the Cheras and the Pandyas. These were the three major kingdoms. I'm repeating again, the three major kingdoms that time, it was the Cheras, the Cholas and the Pandyas. Now the Pandyas, the first one, they are mentioned by the Megasthenes, who says that their kingdom was celebrated for the pearls. Okay, now he also speaks that it is ruled by the woman, which has suggested some matriarchal influence in the Pandya society. Okay, we are talking about the Pandyas. Okay, so it will be in the Pandya society. Now, in the major rock edict 2, Ashoka mentions of the three kingdoms, that is Pandyas, Cholas and Cheras, who are their neighbors. Okay, the Hathigumba inscription of the Karvavela, it consists the early epigraphic reference to the kingdoms of the Tamil country. Now, where he said that it is destroyed of the confederacy of the Tamil states, Tamrasai Sangam. However, the chief source of the Sangam period is the Sangam literature. The next is the literary sources. Now the Sangam literature, it consists of the Tokapiyam, Itutogai and the Patiputta. Now these works, they provide valuable information to how the history of the working of the history age. Okay. Now, among these, Tokapiyam, it was the earliest. It was the first that was Tokapiyam. Now, during the post-Sangam period, the Patinayan Kakyonuku or the 18 works was composed. Okay, the two epics, that is the Silapatagram and the Manigalai, also they belonged to the post-Sangam period. Okay, now all these literatures, now they help us to know the society, the economy and the culture of the ancient Tamils. Now, next is the earliest Tamil works. Okay, now Tolkapiyam, it is also the oldest extant Tamil grammar, it was written by Tolkappiyar. He is one of the 12 disciples of the Sant Agastya. Okay, now it is divided into 3 major parts. Each was consisting of the 9 iyals. Now iyals means what? Is the sub parts, okay, and has total number of 1612 sutras. Now, the other earliest Tamil works were the Agasthyam. Now, Agasthyam means what? It is a work of the grammar of the letters and the life by Saint Agasthyar, Panipudam and the Kakipadnayam. Next is what are the remains of the materials. Now the several monuments of this period have been brought to the light by the excavations that are conducted at the various places in Tamil Nadu. Now Robert Bruce Frutti, he is the person who conducted the excavations at the Adichanchur, where he had found a large number of articles, and these articles, they were made of iron, bronze and gold. Now they depict the life of the ancient Tamils. So this was the materials that were remained. Okay, now Dubreuil and Morita Wheeler were also the excavations at the Arikamedu near Pondicherry. Roman pottery, glass holes, gems and coins, they have been found there. Now the findings, what did they do? They confirmed that the commercial contacts between whom? Between the Roman Empire and the Tamil country, these were taking place during the Sangam age. Now, the Sangam literature, it speaks highly of the 3 South Indian kingdoms, that is the Chera, Chola and Pandya. Now the 3 ancient kingdoms of the Cholas, the Pandyas and the Chera, they combined together which were known as the Tamilakam or Tamil realm or the Tamil countries. Now which all 3 kingdoms of Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas. Next, now I have made a table of the 3 kingdoms of the Sangam age. Now under here the heading comes to kingdom, capital, emblem and the famous port. Now when it comes to Chera, the kingdoms of Chera, Chola and Pandya. Now we are going to see about it each. Okay, now first kingdom Chera, where the capital of it is Vanji or Karur. In emblem, you say it's the bow and arrow, whereas the famous port is Masuri and Tondi. This is for Chera kingdom. The next is for the Chola kingdom. The capital is Orayur, the emblem is tiger, and the famous port are Puhar, Kaviraputtanam and the Pumpuhar. Next is the Pandya kingdom, where the capital is Madurai, the emblem is fish, and the famous sport is Korkai and Salior. Now, I have shown here a picture of the kingdoms with the flags. Now, here you can see the Chola, okay, Pandya, and the Chera. I have told you Chera is bow and arrow, you have got your Chola, which is the tiger, and you've got Pandya as the fish. So, I have shown you the picture of the kingdoms with the flags. Next is the Cheras. The Cheras, the earliest reference of the Chera, that is Kerala Petru, the kingdom is in the Ashokan inscriptions. Now, it comprised of what? The modern districts of the Malabar, Cochin, and the northern Tranakot, and its capital is none other than Vanji. Now, the greatest Chera king was the Senkavitam, the end of the good Chera. Now, he is credited with having invaded the north and crossed the river Ganga. Now, but all this seems to be exaggerated. Patni cult, that is the worship of Kannangi, is the idol wife, was started by him. Now, the Chera or the Kerala country was situated where? In the west and the north of the land of the Pandas. Now, it included a narrow strip of land between the sea and the mountains, and it covered the portions of both Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Now, in the earlier centuries of the Christian era, the Chera country was important as a country of what? Both Cholas and the Pandyas. Now, it owned the importance for what? To the trade with the Romans. Now, the Romans, what did they do? They set up 2 regiments, okay, where at Masuris, which is identical with the Karanganuru in the Chera country, to protect their interests. Now, it is said that they also built the temple of the Augustus over there. Now, the Cholas, the homeland of the Cholas was the Kaveri Delta and the adjoining region of the modern Tanjavur and Tiruchirappalli. Now, they were the first to acquire the ascendancy in the far east with Kaveri Pattanam or Puhar as their capital, and its inland capital was none other than Urayur. Okay, now in the middle of the 2nd century CE, the Chola king, he was named as Elara, who conquered Sri Lanka, and he ruled over it for nearly 50 years. Now, the famous king of Chola was Karikala, which means the man with the charred leg. Now, he was a contemporary of the Chera king Perugal Adan. Karikala was very competent ruler as well as he was a great warrior. Now, he also founded the Purhar and constructed 160 kilometer of embankment along the Kaveri river, and this was built where in the labor of 12,000 slaves which was brought as captives from Sri Lanka. Now, Puhar, it was a great center, especially for the trade and commerce, and the excavations, they showed a large dock. Okay, the Cholas, they also maintained the efficient navy. Next is the Pandyas. Now, the ancient kingdom of the Pandas and its capital in Madurai, it comprised what? The major districts of the Madurai, Ramanand, Tirunelveli and the southern parts of the Travancore. The Pandyas were the first mentioned by the Megasthenes. Now, according to the Megasthenes, the kingdom was once, it was ruled by a woman. And according to the Ashoka edicts, the Pandyas, they were the independent people who were living beyond the southern border of the Mauryan Empire. Now, the greatest Pandya king was the Neduchian, who defeated the Chera and the Cholas. Now, according to Silappatikaram, Nehemtinja is the fit of the passion who ordered without the judicial inquiry the execution of the Kovalan who was accused of the theft of the queen's anklet. Okay, now when Kovalan's wife, she proved her husband innocent, the king was struck with remorse and he was died of shock of the throne. The Pandya kings, they profited from the trade with the Roman Empire and they sent the ambassadors of the Roman emperor, that is Augustus. Now the Pandyan port, that is Korakai, was the great center of trade and commerce, and another port was none other than Seliur. Next is the social divisions. Now the Tamil society as a Sangam period, it was broadly classified into the several groups. Now under these groups, the earliest of the Sangam literature, that is the Tokapiyam, it refers to the 4 divisions, and those 4 divisions were none other than Antathar, Arasar, Vaislyar and the Velalar. Now, according to that, the classifications, there was the Vedic social divisions also which took place. Now, the another Sangam work, which was the Purunur, it mentions the ancient Tamil tribes. Now, those tribes were the Tudian, the Panan, the Pariyan and the Gandabam. Next comes to your food and hospitality. Now, first of all, we know that rice is the staple food diet of the Sangam period, and the food habits, they varied among the people according to the economic status, but the staple diet was rice. Okay, the rice had their feast every day while the poor took them as a simple food. Now, chewing the betel leaves, okay, was the most common among the people. Now, offering the betel leaves to the guests, and the guests used to arrive, they used to offer the betel leaves to them, to the guests, which was a social formality. And the hospitality, which is very, very important, was a special virtue of the Sangam period, that is Sangam Tamilians. Now, the Sangam literature, it describes what? How the hosts had always been waiting to welcome the guests. Next is the dress and the ornaments. Now, what was the dress and the ornaments? The Sangam the Tamilians, they had more interest to their dress. Okay, they wore what? They wore silk and fine cotton garments. The middle class people, they wore 2 pieces of the clothes which was made of cotton. The women, they paid attention to their hairstyle and they used flowers like jasmine to decorate their pleats and the tufts. Both men and women, they used the perfumes made of sandal and flowers. And the Sangam literature, it refers to a variety of ornaments that wore by both men and women. Now, they were made of what? Gold, silver, pearls and precious stones. Now, poor people, they used the ornaments which were made of shells and the beads. So, this was about the dress and the ornaments. Next is about the position of the women. Now, there is plenty of information about the Sangam literature to trace the position of the women during the Sangam period, the Sangam age. Now, women poets like the Aviyar, Nachiliyar and the Kadipadiniyar, they flourished in this particular Sangam period and they contributed to Tamil literature. And the courage of the women was also appreciated by the through poems. Okay, Karapu or the chaste life, it was considered as the highest virtue of the women. Love marriage was a common practice that was taking place during that particular period. Now, women, they were allowed to choose their life partners. However, the life of the widows, it was really miserable. Okay, now the class of the dancers also was patronized by the nobles and kings. This was about the position of the women. Now the economy of the Sangam age. Generally, the Tamil society, they had enjoyed an affluent, excellent economy during the Sangam age period. Now, agriculture, industry, trade and commerce, these three, agriculture, industry, trade and commerce was made by the Sangam Tamilians and also was self-sufficient. And the exports, they were also made to the other parts of the world. This was about the economy of the Sangam age. Now, agriculture was the most important occupation during that period and rice also was the staple diet. Ragi, sugarcane, cotton, pepper, ginger, turmeric, cinnamon and a variety of fruits were the other crops that were grown in this particular Sangam period. Now, jackfruit and pepper, they were famous in the Chera country. Paddy was the chief crop in the Chola and the Pandya country. Both the countries, that is in Chola and Pandya country, the chief crop was paddy. And the chief occupation of the people was none other than the agriculture, but the main crop was paddy. Now, millet, grams and sugarcane. Millets, gram, sugarcane, these three were also cultivated. Now, irrigation through the rivers, tanks and wells, they were also used for the cultivation. Next comes your handicrafts during the Sangam period. Now, the handicrafts of the Sangam period, it was also very popular. The weaving, the metal works, the carpentry, the shipbuilding and making of the ornaments made out of the beads, stones and ivory. Now, there was a great demand of the products as the internal and the external trade was at its peak during the Sangam period. Spinning and weaving of the clothes and the silk clothes attained a high quality. That means spinning and weaving of cotton, okay, and silk clothes, they attained a high quality. Next comes the poems. The poems also mentioned that the cotton clothes as thin as the cloud of the steam or the slough of a snake. They compare it, okay, they compare it through the cotton clothes with the help of the poem. And there was a great demand in the Western world for the cotton clothes which were woven at the Urayur. Next is the occupation. Weaving and spinning of the clothes were the important craft of the Sangam period. Urayur and Madurai, these two were the main centers of the manufacture of the cotton fabrics. And the weavers, what did they do? They exported the cotton clothes. And the Sangam literature, it relates to the clothes which were thinner than the steam. Okay, now silk clothes, they were also produced in the Tamil country. Now the other craftsmen like the carpenter, blacksmith, goldsmith, potter, they also had practiced in this particular occupation. Next is the fishing and hunting. They also remained as an important occupation during this particular period. Next comes your trade and commerce. In the beginning, the barter system of the trade was also followed. The Kunji region, they exchanged the honey with the people of the Nedal region for what? Fish and salt. Like that, likewise, the Mulai people, they gave their milk products to the Maduran people to get the rice from them. That is your barter system. Later, the local markets, they also came, which are known as the Agadis, and both the day market and the evening bazaar, it also was there in the port of towns. Then the Patni, it refers to the puhar, and the goods were also in the distant places to be brought into the markets, and there was also expansion of the trade during the growth of towns. Moreover, there were exports of the goods of the other countries which were also increasing during this particular period. Now, there was an external trade also that was carried between the South India and the Greek kingdoms. Now, the port of the Puhar, it became an emporium of the foreign trade, and the other ports of the commercial activity, it included the Tondi, Mussoorie, Korakai, Arikmudi, and the Marackanam. And the plenty of the gold and silver coins were issued by the Roman emperors like the Augustus, Tiberius, and the Nero, which were also found in the other parts of Tamil Nadu. And the main imports of in this period, Sangam period, were the cotton, fabrics, spices, which I have told you all, and the precious stones and pearls. Gold, horses, and sweet wines were also the special imports in this particular period. Now we come to the end of the Sangam age, which is towards the end of the 13th century AD. The Sangam period, it also witnessed its decline, and the Kalabars, they occupied the Tamil country for about 2.5 centuries, and Jainism, Buddhism, and the Aswigam, they became the prominent during this particular period. Okay, so students, today we are going to come to the end of this particular session. Thank you, children.